Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our community who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guests today are Janet Hogan and Ellen Moran from Annapolis Quilts for Kids. Janet and Ellen, welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Thank you for having us.
Well, what is Annapolis Quilts for Kids all about, and how does it work?
Well, Annapolis Quilts for Kids is a national nonprofit organization. It began in the year 2000 by Linda REA. She was a interior designer, and she noticed that design centers were throwing out discontinued fabrics. And so she got the fabrics and saved them from the landfill and was trying to decide what to do with them. And she remembered that her daughter had been in the hospital for an extended period of time, and her daughter wanted her teddy bear, and she couldn't have it because of allergen reasons. And so Linda thought, why don't I have some friends and family make some quilts that can be washed over and over again and that the kids can have in the hospitals. And so that's kind of how it started. And now we have about 98 chapters nationwide. And yeah, we make, we donate nationwide about 25 to 30,000 quilts a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do you meet here locally on a regular basis? And if so, when and where?
Yes, we meet. Our local chapter is called Annapolis Quilts for Kids, and we meet at Bay Area Community Church on the third Saturday of every month from 10:30 to 1:30.
Could you repeat that for our viewers?
Yes, it's Bay Area Community Church. Okay. It's at 884 Chesterfield Road in Annapolis, okay, from 10:30 to 1:30 every third Saturday. Yeah.
And it's a really fun group of people. We're cutting blocks, we're sewing, we're finishing bindings. We're doing like all different kinds.
And socializing, and we're having fun together.
Yeah, we always have a little food.
And these are the things at your workshops, right?
Yes, these are our workshops,
okay,
the third Saturday. Yeah. Okay.
And what actually goes on? You just mentioned some of the things that go on. Could you provide some more detail about what actually goes on? If someone shows up at your workshop, what do you do?
Well, sometimes, some kits are prepared ahead of time and some are prepared then. So we would hand someone a kit and they could start.
It's all cut up fabric and there's a pattern in there, and
so it's very user-friendly, in other words.
Yep, and we have people bring their sewing machines and their sewing supplies.
Yeah, all the pieces are in there to sew. So that's one of the things that we start to do.
And we invite all skill levels to come to the workshop. So if you've never quilted before, we'd love to have you. We can teach you how. And if you've been quilting for a long time. Yeah.
And we also have some quick projects. This is a preemie quilt kit, and it makes a really, there's this one little girl that comes that she's like around 11, and she can make like one or two of these during the workshop because they're really simple. These are for the NICU and Arundel Medical Center.
Yep.
So they're lovely. Are youth invited to attend? Do you encourage young people to take part in it? You mentioned that it's pretty much open to anyone, but is that a group that you encourage?
Yes, definitely.
And do you have youth taking part?
Yes, a couple of years ago we had about 9 preteens come, and they wanted to come and learn to sew, so we taught them how to quilt. So we started with the quilt top. They just pieced it together, and then we taught them how to sandwich it and then how to quilt it and bind it, and so they were able to make a complete quilt. And yeah.
So basically, it doesn't matter what their skill level is. You basically will get them involved in hands-on activity once they come in the door. And is it easy for people to catch on to it?
Yeah, I mean, you just have, you need to, it has a 1/4-inch seam, so you just have to know how to sew straight.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about this group is there's a woman in our group that has a long arm quilting machine at home. And so somebody might make the quilt top, and then she might bring it home and long arm quilt it. Right. And then she bring it back, and then someone else might bind it. So whichever part you want to do. And then actually another person to start out with might cut the quilt, cut the kit,
cut the fabric,
make the kits. So we have, I mean, different people like to do different things, and we have, you don't have to do the quilt from start to finish. Okay. If you don't want to, you can do any part. And then these are bags that we give to a hospital in Virginia that some nurses asked us to make. So these are also quick projects that we really like.
And all of our projects have the label, Quilts for Kids label inside. So, here it is. And then they can write their name on it as well. So.
And the quilts, a lot of them, they're really cute, but they're not difficult. These are
just basic 6.5-inch squares. So
yeah, that you sew together. And it doesn't matter, like here's another one. They just all come out nice, even though they're all different. Right. It doesn't matter. Oh, in this, we've also made pillowcases for the hospital, and they're easily
sewn together. You can do that in an hour or two as well.
Yeah, they're quick projects. So, like there's, some people just make premium quilts. Some people like the bags. And some people, and all the quilts. This is a little more, we also do a variety of quilts. This is a little string piece quilt that someone made and put together. And then, that's patterns we do. Some people just make their own things up and just donate the quilts. They don't even go by the Quilts for Kids pattern. They just create whatever they want to and then donate them to us.
It was completely flexible in terms of what people want to do. In other words, it's pretty much what people feel the most comfortable with, that's what they'll do, whether it's doing something from start to finish in terms of a quilt or just doing parts of it.
The only requirement basically is machine quilted. It needs to be machine quilted, no hand quilting, so that it can be washed over and over again by, in the hospitals and stuff.
And the fabric is 100% cotton.
Yes.
We don't just use any fabric, we use 100%.
Yeah, we don't want it to melt in the dryer, so yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to take a break now, and when we return, I will be talking with Janet and Ellen in more detail about some of the operational aspects of Annapolis Quilts for Kids. Today with Janet Hogan and Ellen Moran from Annapolis Quilt for Kids. And they've been displaying for us the beautiful quilt work which their organization does at their workshops. But it raises this question too, and that is, I'm sure there are people that want to help your organization, but just cannot come to the workshops themselves. You have options for those kinds of individuals.
Yeah, we have people who have contacted me, and I send them a kit, and then they make the quilt and mail it back to me. So yeah, that's another way of.
And there's people, we're also involved with Annapolis Annapolis Quilt Guild, and when we go to the meetings, people ask us for kits, and then they'll bring them back the next month or something. So, you know, when we see people, and then there's this one woman, she just mails Janet finished quilts.
And some people just donate fabric, and that's nice too. If they're cleaning out their fabric stash, and you know, we'll take it if it's 100% cotton. We'd love to have that too.
With respect to the use of the quilts, what actually becomes of the quilts once they're done? To what organizations do you donate them?
We give them to shelters in the area, Chrysalis House, Stanton Center, we've donated some to there, Arden House, to the Anne Arundel Medical Center, the pediatrics and the NICU, and then to the nursing students in Virginia. We make about 50 quilted tote bags a year, and they stuff them with different things like coloring books and crayons and toiletries, and then hand those out at Christmas to kids in the hospital. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Could you share with our viewers some stories about kids that have benefited from the receipt of the work of Annapolis Quilts for Kids, and that you find especially meaningful? Anything that comes to your mind that says, gosh, that really was something that was really heartwarming?
Well, one day I woke up and all of a sudden I saw a picture of one of my quilts that Janet had put on Facebook. And it just happened to be my quilt. I didn't, you know, she didn't know it was my quilt. And they had given a quilt to a little child in El Salvador. And
yeah, our church has missions trips, and one of the trips was going to El Salvador last year, and they asked for a quilt to hand out, and there was a little girl there who had cancer, and so she was really sick, so they decided to give it to her, and that was a blessing to her. It was really neat. And then the Chrysalis House has also sent us thank you notes from the kids, and how much the kids have appreciated the quilt, so that's really sweet too.
Any other stories that you might, that just come to your mind? That's a very nice story, though.
Yeah. Another one is in Virginia. We had a little boy who also had cancer, and his mother told us that he liked a specific character, and I went on eBay. I couldn't find the fabric for it, so I went on eBay and I searched, and I ended up bidding on this fabric and found it and made a quilt for him. So that was, and then I got a letter from his mother as well, and that was really special.
What kind of quality control do you employ for the quilts? Because obviously, I mean, they're very, very pretty, very, very nice. You must have some types of quality control rules that you have for people to follow, or do you?
Just that they need to be 100% cotton. They need to be quilted enough so that if they're washed frequently, they won't start to come unraveled. We check for any holes in the stitching, you know, and we have to repair that, and that they have a label on them. Is another.
And Janet washes each quilt before it goes out, so I guess that also helped, like, you know. But yeah. I mean, I'm amazed when we went to the Stanton Center and we were given like 33 quilts. Those quilts looked really nice. They presented very nice.
The bright colors.
A really nice product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's fabric that people are giving away or whatever, they're a really nice product.
Do they have to be of a certain standard size?
They're usually about 38 by 48 inches, but we also take lap-size quilts for older kids, because we give quilts to preemies all the way up to 18-year-olds. So they can be boy, girl, neutral. They can be pretty much any size. We generally don't take twin size or queen or king, but just kid size.
Yeah, it's not a fixed size. There are patterns on the Quilts for Kids website, but you do not have to use those patterns. You can just create whatever you want to.
Yeah.
From what source do you get your fabrics and supplies? I presume that they're donated?
Yeah, most of them are donated,
Okay.
yes. But we also buy some of the fabrics at a discount. We had some people donate some craft items and stuff that we ended up selling at the quilt show in Annapolis.
Okay.
They have a country store, and we sold some items there and made some money, and so we are able to buy batting and fabric with that money too.
Okay. And you've been talking about this, but outside of people coming to your workshops or mailing in completed quilts or supplying fabrics, what are some of the other ways that some of our viewers who might be watching today say, gee, that's such a neat organization, I want to help them? What are ways in which the public can help Annapolis Quilt for Kids?
Well, they can go on quiltsforkids.org, and that's
Okay.
the national organization's website, and you can donate that way, or you can call us or contact us and donate money that way. That's always very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other way you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is people, once they see what you're doing, a lot of people have stuff that, they want to share with us. I'll just say that.
Okay. Well, you provided some statistics about the numbers that go on nationally, but how many individuals are involved locally in the Annapolis Quilts for Kids? And about how many quilts does your organization complete and donate each year?
We have about 10 members that come regularly, and then we probably have about 20 that total that come off. Some come off and on.
Okay.
And last year we donated about 105 quilts. It was about 46 quilted tote bags and about 36 preemie quilts. So and yeah.
That's very respectable.
Yeah.
Definitely making a contribution.
Yeah, for the small group that we have, we're mighty.
Yeah. And we have fun.
And we have fun. Yeah.
We're not just mighty, we have fun.
That's right. Well, let me then ask this question. There are so many great organizations that individuals can get involved with. What prompted you to get involved with Annapolis Quilt for Kids? How did you get involved with it? And why have you continued with it? What about the organization keeps you coming back?
Well,
And how did you get involved with it to begin with?
okay. You want to start?
Well, the first quilt I ever made was a child's quilt for my niece when I was young. So I like making children's quilts because they're quick and you get them done fast. So I started with the organization because I really enjoy doing it. I mostly do tops. Sometimes I'll just make quilts from start to finish, but a lot of times that's the part I like to do. And a lot of times I finish the binding for the person that does the long arm quilting.
Mm-hmm. And I got started when I was younger, in my 20s, and then stopped as my kids were growing. And then about 5 years ago, I was interested in quilting again, and I thought, what a great way to quilt and to donate to kids in need. It just is a neat way to take my skill and use it for others who can't do that, or so some little kid can just hold it and cherish the quilt, and just it's heartwarming to know that they do that. So.
Are there any particular quilts or things that you've made that you're especially proud of, and why?
I don't know.
And maybe there's not. Maybe you like all of them.
I mean, I just really enjoy making. I just really enjoy making the simple.
But I think it's fun too to take something like little pieces of fabric these are scraps pieces that are just people might throw away, and to just. I mean, it's a cute quilt once you put all these scraps together, and so it's like a challenge in a way to try different designs and different skills. And we have some people who come in and Some of our members know how to do more than maybe I do, and so I learn from them, and they learn from me, and so it's just, it's really fun to do that, and to create something beautiful out of scraps.
Yeah. Well, what do you find to be the most enjoyable aspect of the program that you have? What gives you the greatest amount of fun? You both said this is a lot of fun. What do you find to be the aspects of the program that gives you the most fun?
I think it's really fun hanging out with the different, well, it's not just you know, the different teens, and, you know, they're always learning new tricks, and, you know, even though we're working on sometimes simple quilts, you're always talking about all this other, you know, new techniques and easier ways to do things, and there's lots of different ways to do binding, and it might be an easier way, and new tools that came out that you can cut the binding with or cut the squares with. Just fun to hang out with everyone.
And to have someone new who's never quilted before, and to take what we love and to pass that on to someone else, it's just, that's just really neat to be able to do that. And
we have someone that's just started that was in their 20s. So I mean, they're very capable to do it, but it's just exciting that all of a sudden, yeah, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow.
What do you do when you get someone who's just brand new, he or she, and let me make this, can I assume that most of the participants are women, or
yes.
do you have any men at all involved with it?
No.
No,
Okay.
we don't exclude anyone. But
No.
Yeah, they're welcome to come.
That's right. That's right. But what do you do if someone show up for the first time and they said, "I've never quilted. I wouldn't know how to start. I have no idea. I think the quilts are beautiful. I think they're lovely. I want to learn how to make them, but I don't have the first notion about how to do this. I'm a complete newbie, so to speak." And I'm sure that you probably find that they're probably the younger people, but maybe some older people as well. So what do you do with someone who walks in the door and says, "I want to help, but I don't have the foggiest notion of how to do this"?
I usually take my machine, I set it right next to them, right next to their machine, and I get one of the kits, and usually I get the Preemie kit that's small, easy to start with, simple, and I'll just take them step by step through the pattern, show them the fabrics. There's a right side of fabric, there's a wrong side of fabric, and just show them how to put it together, and I'll just be sitting right next to them doing the same thing so that they can watch and learn from me, and then I can help them if they make a mistake or if they have any trouble.
Huh? What do you mean there's a right side and a wrong side of fabric? See, I'm learning something right now. See, I'd be one of those newbies.
Yeah. I call it the pretty side and the ugly side for little kids. Is that one?
Show it very well.
Yeah, this one doesn't show it very well, but you can kind of see.
Oh, this
that
one
there's-
shows it
yeah.
better. That's the right side, and that's the wrong side.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that the two pieces are the right sides, the pretty sides, are sewn together, so that when you open it up, you have the two sides will, it'll be like that. So yeah, so that's kind of what you have to start with, the basics, and yeah.
And the biggest deal is the 1/4-inch seam, just to get the 1/4-inch seam straight.
And to get it even,
yeah,
so
even.
it's all 1/4 inch, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
So-
biggest deal.
Yeah.
Well, I am certain that many of our viewers are going to want to learn more about your organization. And so how can they get in touch with you? What's your website, email address, telephone number? How can they reach you if they want to learn more about Annapolis Quilt for Kids, or they want to become more involved and help in certain ways?
Well, our email address is annapolisqfk@quiltsforkids.org, and our blog is annapolisquiltsforkids.blogspot.com, and then we have a Facebook page that I put all the pictures of all the quilts that anybody has ever made on there, and it has a lot of information on there, on the blog and the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Could you repeat for us again the website? because many people will want to go to that website.
Okay. It's AnnapolisQuiltsForKids.blogspot.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you for viewing our program today. And please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, please jot down the information that's on your screen. You can reach us by telephone at 410-263-7998 or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov. And check out our page at the City of Annapolis website. Go to www.annapolis.gov, click on City Government, then Boards and Commissions, and scroll down to the Human Relations Commission page. And always remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We have flown the air like birds and swum the seas like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth as brothers and sisters."